Coming up in the next countdown LBL. Coming up next video. Title: nextVideo.description. Skip to this video now. Transcript: for Southern California residents, cleanup after devastating mudslides. Hi Libby is mixed. Here were in Burbank, where mudslides had impact in this area earlier this week on Tuesday. Residents were it actually meeting on Tuesday, and the mandatory evacuations were lifted today. And as he took a closer here, this is Barbara and playing. And they lost their car in the mudslide. Wendy, this is your heart practice. No, that about what happens. A part at the heart and the low is meant Canada. That is rightly know if there are things. And as hard as part local 3 unfortunately. Disintegrated of the summit in water some degree. So fast it just came over, have been hurt. Kim down and Phillies and flipped my card on the street. Intel's humbled and smashed the brim of mud and badgers and also threatened to bring. Figure if you look at the top of the mountain over here in Irving and it. Brown picked up where they located will not other industries. On top and of the 3 and it higher up. Looking at the higher plains and the heartland is good honest and that is right around them, my house and the like carry it down. All they've done it requires them on an island chemistry and show me you're a little healthy when it looked like our hands. It hasn't been around me not. And flash and mostly intact pills irons. And just isn't bouncing, it was a car owner's. And mobilized. The unions. I humility council over her and completely different, absolutely hidden, and it was like cars. Part. From a neighbor's losses truck and Patrick almost unrecognizable. Mary is open wrote a note my car and amazing how much damages the power 5th power here and now is stuff that came down. Really has something like that ever happens here? Cargo floor of this card no. Coming up on long enough may have had other close and impasse appeared at card the way. But not on this scale. How does that work with insurance? They have comprehensive. It's covered and comprehensive as this they're on. And they've already deemed just total losses. They've been very helpful and trying to cover the damages and is someone else. Your mom lengthy. He tells a little bit more sad that it had impacting your family and the happy that the where you live again. Go there, live there. I have hired hill and much like in Boundary Games yet another car they got was this small about a block. And men in that bad, in other words of other cells that does that bunch of water came down all went. And then what about in 1980? It was a big budget came through here and we didn't know. That put it here and we were parked in the street in October 1st came down, it was about a quarter mile, it has come down this hour. And we knew from that experience has totaled that this would be. Everett, how do they would love it here? You can't. Happen in Burbank instantly have. People have poor vehicle owners of the other yes, but what Obama Aggies became so they examined the damage that we are seeing. I'll give you another view, a wider view of the car here. The area. No, okay, show me that on a friend's. And he did not go over here. Well yeah, who? In what some see the husband and ranchers, so what's is your help going fella at? The and then come and vying don't really. Exhibit A and the choice. Really it's another I really like this caused by my first one about my own money. It was a myself and everything known as life, as the car, but not with 7 years old. 3.5 years. Mattingly. I'm so sorry again. Well, we want to replace their cars and we have a backup back to real life as possible. We have something else is doing our house. Just witness if you will get luck. Thank you those. Sorry again. Kate that we are here in her bank. You at the green. That was hit with the mudslides again, the mud rush. All the way down 3 years and residents in the area were ordered to leave their homes Tuesday after the greens on its slide. And not exactly seen has now been listed in who's still here. Cleaning up the mess that we're seeing now. There are a variety of factors that lights this distraction. Wildfires all over Southern California had hit the vegetation and not vegetation that is normally be able to fill up flood water is no longer here. Because of those fires that again authorities really pointing to the fires and the eyes forward, and I live in Southern California. Drought is also another problem, as the heat you had been suffering brings years of drought. Lorry, again seeing crews still here in the area cleaning. Good morning, remain here in the morning. Venetian Island, the mudslides in Southern California and specifically Dan Barber, which was hit very hard as well. You could only sign that information on abcnews.com, where the activity continue will be, and earlier, as well. Officials release 5th video. Killing of 3 hit media 1 and everything's free. My immediate full. He can count the driving firefighters boosted it. Showing it to me down the street. But again, this evacuation orders have now been lifted. But still we're seeing all this died in the average water. Though it harks back up behind a bit of a ways down that way. To make my way here, the road having closed until earlier, when authorities lifted the evacuation. These people are now that in the home, meaning, look at have you back here and right now. High tech. They ABC News. Sorry 80 is. He asked if HES question and or visit your home. Here it is. Sir, sorry about what happens. They had very little damage. I've got bad, big. They're not standing by. They actually help feel kind of night, protected. The rest of the house. Watering new team lunch. I forget. There's one video that 50. Shown where there's a hard driving down the street as the wall of water comes behind it. And you can see in it a video holding few. You can see in the video of the water comes around. It hits this wall and deflects it all. So, did you have flown here on purpose for something like that? Don't let it just me luck we moved here. It's been pro. Here and him coming to realize. Everything on the street it's pretty. To protect the houses on. Get him from getting flooded. When it conflicted. So, your husband theme yeah okay yeah I mean compared polite like this. I want. Constantly. Yeah defeat from the they've gotten. Might. Goes up and so on over. Nothing went out there, just looking around now though and seeing there are some other stone walls. The high ain't yeah. Well if you look here this curb and pull would occur but those are like a foot and half how life. And my wife and I woke up early Tuesday morning. And you could see the water would go to that office. Talk about these curves and even cresting over the top of this which is lying on all the moment here. She woke up first and that the two cars that God watch. Saw them working that's 3. The out self despite. Doesn't make. By all. It is something to think about but if you're gonna live in the mountains that's kinda the price you pay for that. Flatland. This we have to deal with this but at the same time. Seat left the area code that yacht and it's very wise people say it will be here it's like living and be if you don't it. A lot of trade-offs I want you think it'll take you to clean up that it is our friend that is in bad now with weight. It's from the lights on an item from your world and he wants to help group. And speaking in a temperature ointment that cure. The big and different level. Impact here that we're seeing from home to home. And a lot of mud and don't. You feel closer look to the street. The earlier this week, 18 to leave me. In Southern California here it's own any brain for about 2V so. Again and that officials thinking. If it had rained longer. These could have been worse and it was just last month that Southern California was still impacted. By the wildfires. Again affecting that land after the vegetation. And making things like mudslides. A possibility. We're seeing a lot of people back now that the evacuation have been elected back here cleaning up their homes. Finding their cars, figuring out where things are. And again for more information and as more information on scene of our browser which was greatly impacted as well. Go to what'smakingnews.com for more information and thanks for watching and will be. This transcript has been automatically generated and may not be 100% accurate.